Quite a dilemma that NXT has found itself with the NXT Women's Tag Team division ever since they introduced those NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, all of you know by now, if you've been watching these videos, if you've been following me over the past 2-3 months, you know I have no problem with the women's division at all. As a matter of fact, I think it's been one of the highlights of NXT and WWE over the past 2-3 years. So all in all, if the idea had been presented to me that we were going to have NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the NXT brand, I would have been completely on board with that. 100%. And I am still 100% on it. I really am. But there's a way of introducing things, and there's a way of setting things up properly, and the way WWE did that with NXT for the women's tag titles, it just seems like it wasn't the right way. It wasn't the correct way, at least from my point of view. You might have a different one. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. But my point of view is, if we're going to introduce the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, you want to introduce them as a big deal, as the biggest deal possible. You want to tell the fans that the NXT Women's Division has gotten too big, it's gotten too good, it's gotten too entertaining to just have one champion in the division. And then you come up with a tournament, and then you present us with the brand new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions in Dakota Kai and Raquel, the very first inaugural champions. But the way they handled it, number one, if you want to have the first ever women's Dusty Cup, kudos on that. Absolutely, have it. Keep making history. But if you're going to introduce the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, then the winners of the Dusty Cup should have been the inaugural champions. Simply put. And there are reports that the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships weren't quite ready by the time the finals were going to be set. That's all fine and okay. Then plan ahead. Or reset your plans to fit that mold. Just an idea. And then, I think the worst thing that they did, the worst thing possible that WWE did with the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, is the fact that they had the winners of the Dusty Cup, Raquel, current NXT Women's Champion, fully deserved by the way, and Dakota Kai, challenge then WWE Women's Tag Team champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, to a match for the tag titles, where the champions already appear sparingly, if ever, on the yellow and black brand. Then you have them lose in a screwball finish. Yes, that was clearly what they were going for. They were clearly trying to communicate that to the audience. They were clearly trying to tell the audience, hey, this Raw referee screwed your NXT Tag Team out of the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. So instead of building on that story, instead of having Dakota Kai and Raquel rally on NXT and invade Raw and SmackDown and just stalk the Women's Tag Team Champions on WWE TV until they got a second chance and they finally overcame the odds, and then they lose the titles as fighting champions, and then you can introduce the Women's Tag Team titles. But the way that WWE introduced the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, saying, oh, yeah, you got screwed out of the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Yes, it was not our fault. It was their fault. It was their plan. And it seems like they don't want to appear on NXT anyway, because they rarely do. So instead, just because we don't think that you can win those tag titles back, just because we don't think that they'll even bother to show up on the yellow and black brand, here's this consolation prize. We'll make you the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. We'll introduce these brand new titles in a very, very underwhelming and crappy manner, and that is just what WWE did. And it's a shame, because whether it's Dakota Kai and Raquel, whether it's Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, or whether it's current and new tag team champions Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, the NXT Women's Division, their Women's Tag Team Division, has all the talent, both inside the ring and outside on the ring, on the mic, promo skills, presence, everything. They have the entire package. But you sent the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships on a wrong foot. Just my point of view. Just my simple point of view. And it's something that has been rattling in my mind for months now, ever since the tag team titles have been introduced. And it's something that I just have not been able to get over. Because I don't like being negative, and unfortunately, in this case, I am. But hey, if you tune in later to NXT, I can assure you the in-ring action that these women bring inside the squared circle each and every single week, each and every single show, second to none in professional wrestling today. So all in all, there's a bright future for the NXT Women's Tag Team Division, but my conclusion is WWE, like with a lot of things currently, most recently, they could have done a whole lot better of a job presenting the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships to their fans and not making it look like a cop-out and second-rate, when they are clearly not. I've been Alexis Carrillo. Make sure you tune in later tonight on the USA Network to NXT. That's been it for me. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.